All right, so a few days ago, the Getty Radio Show drops an audio clip of Wack 100, and he's breaking down Lil Boosie's Fed case. He's basically, trying to explain why the state of California dropped their case against Boosie, and the feds picked up the addict with a firearm charge instead. So let's get right into it. Hey, make sure you watch all the way to the end, and I will explain to you guys why I think Lil Boosie can and will beat this charge as well.
They pretty much saying if you ain't a felon or you ain't got a serious case, a serious crime, you can run around with a gun everywhere. Because they hit him with a total different penal code, so he can't even use Duarte no more.
They ain't put that back in Louisiana, right?
What?
They ain't put it back in Louisiana.
For what back?
Oh, but
San Diego.
I thought you ain't
No, it ain't got nothing to do with San Diego. It ain't got nothing to do with this. You niggas okay? This feds. This feds. Ain't no federal law. It's federal law. Ain't no federal California law. Federal nigga, feds is feds.
Yeah, the state of California has dropped their case, and the feds have picked up a case, but they gave them a totally different charge.
This is why when you go to jail, they can ship you to anywhere in the United States. If you go to jail in the state of California, on the state, they can't send me nowhere but California. Feds cover the whole USA, bro. So when you up under their jurisdiction and their penal code, they can send you anywhere. That's their jurisdiction. When I went to prison, I'm up under California jurisdiction. They can only send me to prison in California. Yeah, so now they hit the nigga with an addict in possession of a gun, which is a total different PC of the Duarte case. So even if they kept the Duarte case in play, he's fighting a total different charge. He can't use it as case law. In other words, they finna get some time out there, nigga. They ain't playing.
Yeah, they want Boosie bad. But you notice he keeps bringing up this Duarte case. And this Duarte case is a previous case where there was a felon who was in possession of a firearm. He got pulled over, and he was charged, went to trial, found guilty. Well, he appealed it. Little disclaimer, I am not a legal expert whatsoever. I do happen to know a little bit about this subject, though, just because I myself am an ex-felon. Notice I said ex-felon. It's no longer on my record. I did get it expunged and taken care of actually just not too long ago. And so back in 2012, I was charged with trafficking in marijuana, and I did 5 years probation for it. It was a felony 5. So like the lowest felony, but it was a felony 5. And I was under there. I've been shooting guns since I was like 5 or 6, right? I love shooting guns, and I owned a few guns at the time. And I was under the impression, I didn't ask anybody. I was under the impression that I could no longer own guns. So I turned around and sold them, right? Well, after a while, I got the itch. I want to go back out to the range and shoot with my friends and everything. So I started doing a research like, wait a minute, I didn't have to sell my guns, because what it says is if it's a felony that's punishable by exceeding a year in prison. Mine wasn't. But what the thing is, a lot of times they'll charge you, if you're a felon and you have a firearm, they'll charge you with felon in possession of a firearm, or having a possession of firearms under disability, right? So that's what Boosie's original charge was. But this Duarte case pretty much changed all that. We're going to get into that right here. We're going to look at this right now.
Lanier by Neuromod Devices uses dual mode stimulation to soothe tinnitus. Lanier combines...
Just days ago, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled some felons are allowed to own guns. Janae Bowens with the Fact Check team. She is here to discuss. Janae, we know there's a lot of layers to this. Which felons are allowed to have guns?
So yeah, Dee Dee, the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled people convicted of nonviolent crimes who have finished their prison sentence are allowed to own guns. Now, Stephen Duarte is at the center of this ruling out of California. He has 5 prior nonviolent state criminal convictions, and then he was convicted for tossing a handgun out of a moving car. Now, the court ruled he was protected under the Second Amendment since he is a nonviolent offender who has served his time in prison and re-entered society. So that last conviction was tossed out, and the court overturned a lower court's ruling that made it illegal for people like Duarte to have a gun.
And did the court cite a precedent to affirm the ruling?
Yeah, so it has the 2022 Supreme Court ruling, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association, Inc. v. Bruin. Now, it argued the Second Amendment applied to convicts who have re-entered society. However, the dissenting judge said the Supreme Court case reiterates that the Second Amendment only protects law-abiding citizens and not non-violent offenders.
Okay, so there you have it. That's what the Duarte case was about. And that's what happened. That's why the state of California turned around and dropped their case against Boosie. Now, honestly, this actually should have happened years ago, because in the Second Amendment, it doesn't exclude anybody from having firearms. There are no exclusions, right? My understanding is the only people that are excluded from legally having firearms in this country are illegal immigrants. That's my understanding of it. And that goes for voting too. They strip felons of voting rights, and that's actually not legal.
They ain't playing. But let me ask you this, like in regards to that particular case law, them reviewing the Duarte, do you believe that they gonna overturn it and find them guilty, or you feel like they gonna?
They cannot let that law go through, bro. If they let that law go through, you know how many niggas coming down on appeal?
Well, it's not a law. It's appealing prior law, and I don't know what he means by let it go through. The federal court has already ruled. You know, so people that, if you notice, this is not being broadcast everywhere like that. This just happened like May 10th of this year or something like that, and a lot of people don't know about it. You can go appeal this. If you have these charges, you can go appeal it and probably get those charges wiped out, tossed. If you're sitting in jail right now because of this, try to appeal it.
Mozzie wouldn't have went to jail. Niggas for that to go through, niggas is coming back.
In order for them to...
What it is now is they have case law that your lawyer can actually cite to the judge to tell the judge that, hey, look at this. And they're going to have to look at that and then go off of that.
Like, cause they gonna keep pushing that until they either change the Second Amendment, you know what I'm saying, do away with it.
What do you mean?
They can't change the Second Amendment.
For one,
it's written in stone.
Where they up at what Boosie is, because the Duarte thing didn't exist. Instead of keeping him state of California, they let it go feds. That is the state of California. You're going to jail.
No.
You're going to jail. So
all right, so if you're a felon and you're riding around with a gun and you get pulled over, a non-violent felon, you're riding around with a gun, you get pulled over, you get stopped. The cop is probably going to arrest you and take you to jail, and they're probably going to charge you with either felon in possession or weapons under disability, right? So you're probably going to go to court. You're probably going to get found guilty. You're going to have to appeal it. Unless you got a good lawyer and you say, hey, and the lawyer knows about this, or you even point out to the lawyer yourself, hey, what about this Duarte dude? What happened in that case? You know what I mean? Then he's going to have to point it out to the judge, and the judge is going to have to look at that case law and going to have to make a decision based off of that. Because the federal court has already ruled it's unconstitutional. It's the violation of the Second Amendment rights, right?
Oh,
if they wanted to.
They dropped it, the Senate feds. The feds didn't anticipate this Duarte shit. He was already trying to plea bargain 36 to 60 months already. When the Duarte shit popped up, they filed on that, and that's how that went. So
That's how you got out, because I missed that.
yeah, he got out because the Duarte shit went through.
I didn't know that.
Where they overturned dude's shit on the appeal, saying if you're a non-violent felon, you got the right to carry a gun.
All right.
Under federal statute.
I didn't know that.
But since then, the feds that went back, reappealed, pulled it back. When they pulled it back, they turned around and counterfiled addict in possession of a gun.
Now, remember what I was saying about the Second Amendment and what they were saying about it. there's no exclusions. Keep that in mind.
This is a total different PC penal code from this last charge, which will no longer fall under the Duarte Act, even if they let it stand.
Right. Right.
When the feds get on that, they telling you, nigga, we gonna get something out of you. See, we know from the paperwork that they got Boosie dead bang with the gun.
Oh yeah, y'all see it in the thumbnell. They got him with the gun.
All that shit niggas was talking, I don't know who that was, said that felonious shit, that the CI wasn't credible. That was felonious, bro. Nowhere in there was it based on the CI not being credible. Because if the CI wasn't credible, that would have meant he would have beat it under illegal search and seizure. Wasn't no probable cause to search.
So his lawyer actually did find a technicality in that shit the first time.
Wasn't no technicality.
No, there was a technicality, but it wasn't Boosie's lawyer that found it. It was the Duarte guy's lawyer that found it on appeal. That's the technicality. So that allowed Boosie to walk on that original charge of felon in possession or weapons under disability, whatever the charge was.
Technicality. The Duarte law just had hit in June, July, when dude got an appeal. And when dude got the appeal, they used the same shit for Boosie case. Because it was identical. They returned it a week ago. Pulled it back, recharged Boosie with the fact that the feds, see, if the feds would have just charged him with the same case, all right, he got a chance. They hit that nigga with a whole nother penal code.
No, if they would have charged him with the same thing, they definitely wouldn't have had a chance. That's why they didn't charge him with the same thing, because a federal court has already overturned that. So if he goes to court, if the feds charge him with that exact same charge, he goes to federal court, the judge is probably going to throw it out because it's already been overturned, right? I don't know what Wack's talking about here.
They hit him with some shit that they know they got him on. They
hit him with some shit that ain't no case law on.
He's
so
wrong.
Let's say the Duarte law, and like, nah, we gonna let it stand. The Duarte get out. But now Boosie can't use the case law. And when the feds is coming like that, they letting you know, oh nigga, we want some time.
You gonna give us some time?
Nah, they completely dropped the charges of felon in possession for the Duarte dude. The only charges he got were the charges for throwing the handgun out the car.
No, he going to jail.
You going to jail.
Yeah, you going to jail with them people when they play. And I'm gonna tell you what, he would have been better off. I hate to say it, he would have been better off negotiating that 36 to 60 months.
No, the hell he wouldn't.
Wasn't mad, then slapping them in the face.
No, the hell he wouldn't.
Calling them his own.
How does Wack think that he would be better off serving 3 years in prison for having his Second Amendment right violated?
Social media act because you beat it and all this shit. Now, remember what I tell you.
See, the only reason that they get us on these stuff because they know certain people are a little ignorant to the law. So they get us on this shit, and the lawyer, whoever his lawyer is, his lawyer should have already knew this. His lawyer should have already been looking into this because this felony prohibition on firearms for felons, it's been getting looked into for years. People have been trying to fight this, saying it's unconstitutional for years, way before this happened. Boosie got enough money. He should have had a high-powered lawyer. His lawyer should have been fighting that already before the Duarte thing.
Them niggas going to 60 to 120 months. Remember I told you that. The fact that they did that shit with Boosie, how they switched it up, they want some time out of Boosie.
They want some time out that ass. Pause.
They charged him with an addict with a gun.
Yeah. That ain't funny. That ain't funny for damn God.
Addict with a gun, which means that if you are a citizen, pretty much saying you cannot be an irresponsible citizen and have a gun.
Now, that's a double standard. That's a double standard. That's a double standard because what about the deputy that shot Sonia Massey? Right? Irresponsible as hell. And I'm going to get back to him a little later to further prove this double standard.
And you might got to pass a drug test.
No, watch how they get you. Here goes social media. Is weed legal in Georgia?
No.
Where's residence at? Where's his residence at?
That got nothing to do with it. It's a Fed case, not a state
On his
case.
social media, is he rolling up weed, smoking weed?
Big backwoods. Big backwoods.
Okay, so they can take on Instagram, right, where they kicked him off, where he should have stayed kicked off. It has a date on what date his post was there, right?
Right.
You take that date, how they catch it, how they see if a nigga was in the area of a murder. What they go back and look at?
Time and date.
The tower. The cell tower.
Yeah, where they ping.
They triangulate the locations with cell
tower
yeah.
puts him, okay.
But this is a Fed case. The state of Georgia has nothing to do with it. And the offense didn't even happen in Georgia. It happened in California. So I think what he's trying to say is like the feds can use his IG post as evidence that he's addicted to marijuana, he's a drug addict and shouldn't be having a firearm. But here's the thing. They have to prove exactly what that is that he's saying that is in the IG thing. If he says that it's marijuana, okay, that's one thing. But if he doesn't say it and they're just trying to assume that it is, that's not going to hold up in court. That's not going to hold up in evidence. I mean, come on. I mean, honestly, people, if he's got a good enough lawyer, the lawyer's going to fight for the prosecution not to bring that to court.
This phone number, where was it at? Georgia. Okay, on this picture where you rolling the blunt.
Y'all heard what Wack had to say. He thinks Boosie's going to go sit down for a while in the federal penitentiary, right? I, on the other hand, have a totally different opinion on that. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because the Second Amendment protects U.S. citizens and their gun rights. It says nothing about losing your gun rights because you're a felon. They've already ruled that nonviolent felons can own and possess firearms legally, right? Right? So, what that also means is that how are they going to say an addict can't have firearms? And this brings me back to my point about the double standard about that deputy that shot Sonia Massey, right? He had 2 DUIs. Am I not correct on that? 2 DUIs, 2 prior DUIs. Is alcohol not considered a controlled substance? I mean, you have to be a certain age to buy it, right? To buy it and consume it, you have to be a certain age. You can only drink it in certain spot or certain places. I can't have a bottle of Belvedere. I can't have my little Belvedere Monster walking up the street, right? I have to be like at home or in a bar. I can't drive a car afterwards, so it's a controlled substance. Nicotine is also a drug. How many cops smoke cigarettes and drink alcohol? So if this is what the feds want to say, right, then that means how many police officers can no longer smoke cigarettes or drink alcohol? And that means that deputy that shot Sonia Massey, that should be another charge for him too. That should be another federal charge for him, right? Addict in possession of a firearm, if that's the case. That's the double standard I'm talking about here. But check this out right here. This is a story from the Associated Press right here. Right here. This came out, I want to say in 2023. Yeah, August 10th, 2023. Right here. A federal appeals court has ruled that drug users shouldn't automatically be banned from having guns, marking the latest sign of upheaval in the nation's firearm legal landscape and rising questions about laws cited in the case against Hunter Biden. I think Boosie got a chance, bro. What do y'all think about Boosie's case? What do y'all think about what Wack had to say? What do y'all think about felons owning firearms, especially nonviolent felons? Let me know what y'all think down in the comments section. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. That way YouTube knows to push this goddamn video out further so people can get educated on this Duarte case shit and stop going to prison. It's your boy. I'm out of here. Peace.